This is Luke Paulson, the Catholic Conservative, and welcome to the news of the week for March 16th, 2024. And if you enjoy these videos, do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more. The new conspiracy theory. There is a new conspiracy theory that is making the rounds amongst liberal circles. While there are a lot of people who still believe in the Russia collusion narrative and deny the results of the 2016 election, Democrats have created a new conspiracy. Speaker Mike Johnson is being controlled by President Trump, despite no evidence supporting this claim, not even the circumstantial evidence that they had for Russia. They are going to keep going. After all, it was Obama who first proposed the idea of a stand-in to get a third term.
And I used to say, you know what, if I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony, I'd be fine with that.
Either way, the Russia collusion narrative is not going away, as political cartoonists such as Clay Jones still draw him with a Russian lapel for some reason. Legal drugs cause cancer. Doctors who work to transition children have had their internal communications leaked. We already know that this is a money-making scheme.
These surgeries make a lot of money. So female to male chest reconstruction can bring in $40,000. A patient just on routine hormone treatment, who I'm only seeing a few times a year, can bring in several $1,000s. So that requires a lot of visits and labs. It actually makes money for the hospital. And female to male bottom surgeries, these are huge money makers. Again, I think this has to be an underestimate. If they're quoting around $20,000 for a phalloplasty, there's been different things that I've read that said it could be up to $100,000. Dr. Winokur, who's our surgeon, says that there's entire clinics where the entire clinic is supported just by their phalloplasties, and that is like a fraction of the surgeries that they're doing. These surgeries are labor intensive, they require a lot of follow-ups, they require a lot of OR time, and they make money. They make money for the hospital.
We also knew that these drugs were dangerous, but now we heard it right from the horse's mouth. These same workers are admitting that they know that these drugs are causing cancer. It only makes sense. After all, you're disrupting the body's natural internal balance. One fact, and one fact alone, is crystal clear. These doctors are guilty of medical malpractice. The same kids that have suicidal thoughts and tendencies have the same problems after their transitions and surgeries. Now they not only have a huge bill to pay, but now cancer on top of that. These people need to be sued for every penny that they are worth. Also, remember that just a few months ago, Matt Walsh showed that there was a lot of insurance fraud in all of this? The narrative is falling apart left and far left. State-run media destroyed. We in America tend to think that a state-run media is something that could never happen to us. However, we do in the form of NPR, which is a major component of Operation Mockingbird. Operation Mockingbird is here to remind you to never question the official narrative. Under the present American system, it is impossible to get rid of this thing. It has too many well-connected individuals that will protect it. However, if we go to Argentina, President Milei is having some success. He shut down the state news agency Talam for spreading misinformation. It is the biggest state-run media network in the country, and it will not be the last one. Tyrants cannot operate if the press is against them. Milei is eliminating government agencies one after another. Granted, the president of Argentina does not have the same limits that the president of the United States does. However, this is what President Trump was trying to do. By cutting regulations and keeping more regulations from being passed, these agencies would naturally be eliminated as they have no reason to exist. They could go and work at the state level in places like California, or become third-party auditors, which are already used in most major industries. Either way, without propaganda outlets, things will not only be much easier for Milei, but potentially much harder at the same time.
Ironic.
Haiti collapses into chaos. On January 6th, there was a mostly peaceful protest after the supporters of President Trump were led into the Capitol. Instigators like Ray Epps,
In fact, tomorrow,
I don't even like to say it because I'll be arrested.
Well, let's not say it.
We need to go. I'll say it.
All right.
We need to go in.
Shut the fuck up, boomer.
To the Capitol.
We're not persecuted nearly as severely. However, in Haiti, it is a different story. Violent gangs are running rampant throughout, as it is really not that great of a country. President Trump used other words to describe it that I choose not to repeat. But in this case, he was right. Again, the UN evacuated their staff and the State Department has probably forbidden travel to the country. There has even been a mass prison escape. The country is slowly dissolving because of the lack of individual rights. Property rights are almost non-existent as there is no legal framework to protect them. Freedom of speech technically exists, but with the intimidation of journalists, it does not exist in practice. Haiti officially has freedom of religion, but it widely practices voodoo, a form of the occult. So without any legal protections and people denying the Almighty, it is no wonder that it dissolved into chaos. Just looking at the pictures, these people make Black Crimes Matter look peaceful by comparison. Either way, President Trump was right yet again. So is such anarchy something that America will have to deal with before long?
Only Poppins would know.
Satanic chaplains in Florida. Members of the Satanic Church in Florida want to be able to send chaplains to Florida schools. This will be used as a gotcha moment for the school. Either they can bring this evil into the school and will have egg on their face, or they can reject this evil and the misotheists will sue. Besides, since they are in actuality not even worshippers of the devil but just misotheists, they already have chaplains in the school. The biology teacher who rejects science and teaches evolutionism should be able to do the job. Either way, here's a controversial thought. Since our founding fathers had no qualms about using tax dollars to purchase Bibles, and said that the government that they created could only exist under a godly system, religion as they defined it would have been Judeo-Christianity. Certainly not the Muslims that the country would be in a de facto war with soon, or the humanists that started to make up evidence to support their misotheistic worldview. It seems by this standard that these satanic chaplains do not have a leg to stand on. UK bans puberty blockers. England's NHS has officially banned puberty blockers for minors. I mentioned a moment ago that we now know that these cause cancer. We also know that children who are transitioned are no less likely to be suicidal after treatment. It is almost as if this is all one big money-making scheme.
These surgeries make a lot of money. So female to male chest reconstruction can bring in $40,000. A patient just on routine hormone treatment, who I'm only seeing a few times a year, can bring in several $1,000s, so that requires a lot of visits and labs. It actually makes money for the hospital. The female to male bottom surgeries, these are huge money makers. Again, I think this has to be an underestimate that they're quoting around $20,000 for a phalloplasty. There's been different things that I've read that said it could be up to $100,000. Dr. Winokur, who's our surgeon, says that there's entire clinics where the entire clinic is supported just by their phalloplasties, and that is like a fraction of the surgeries that they're doing. These surgeries are labor intensive, they require a lot of follow-ups, they require a lot of OR time, and they make money. They make money for the hospital.
I certainly hope that the United States learns this before more children's lives are ruined forever. However, let us move on to a morally gray government ban. America bans TikTok. TikTok is a creation of the Chinese Communist Party. There are no two ways about it. There is a renewed push not so much to ban the app, but make it American-owned. Like Facebook, Twitter, and the rest of these programs, these are double-edged swords that can be used for good or for evil. However, I am worried about the unintended consequences of something like this. If the government can wrestle control of one company to do whatever it is that they want, they can do that for another company. We have seen the federal government use military force if companies went on strike. We have seen the federal government use military force if someone had cattle graze on his own land. We have seen the federal government shut down the economy over the common cold. If this ban goes through, I worry about what will happen next. Now let us move on to another morally gray program that is in hot water. Again. The deaths of virtual cows. Add that to the list of sentences that I never thought that I would say. ChatGPT is a computer program and cannot pick up on nuances and sarcasm. It also follows through on questions in the most straightforward way. When asked what to do if 13% of cows were causing problems for half of the herd, ChatGPT told the person to separate the cows. The people who hate the program have decided that separating the cows is the same as killing them off. Even stranger is that people are extrapolating this to humans for some reason. We already know that the elites want to control the population.
The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
So this is nothing new, but entirely out of context. Nevertheless, the program no longer answers such questions because of the backlash. Speaking of context, Brandon's transcript. No one is shocked at all to find that Brandon is an old man who can barely focus on anything. He has to be told by his aides what to do, tell stories that never happened, and cannot even find his way off of a stage. When Her interviewed him about his stolen classified documents that he kept in his garage, den, and university office, amongst other places, he kept zoning off. At one point, Her asked him about these documents and Brandon started talking about his son. He was unable to remember when this event happened. He then could not even remember when Donald Trump was elected. The fake news does not want you to believe that Brandon is damaged goods. Is it any wonder that President Trump is winning center and right? Ballot banking. In Arizona, multiple polling places in Republican districts conveniently were inoperable. This resulted in longer lines and people just giving up. We do not even know if all of the votes were counted. Combine this with Trump ballots that were found out in a ravine, and keys that were found on top of a ballot box, and something was seriously wrong that we are not allowed to talk about. Now the GOP has a new plan to stop all of these problems. Ballot banking. Essentially, you vote early and then they hold on to your ballot until the election takes place. You have no idea what is happening with it until then and have no way of knowing. With the GOP establishment standing against President Trump and endorsing rhinos like Haley, it is better to vote in person. However, I'm waiting for the disease that necessitates mail-in ballots this time. Based on what is happening in Florida, I predict it will be measles or a variant thereof. Maybe I'm just blowing smoke. Maybe I'm completely off my rocker, but that is just my opinion. And do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more. But before you go, on the left I have last week's video, but you may also enjoy the video on the right.